She stood in the middle of my driveway. Arms crossed, her voice sharp like broken glass. You can't wear that uniform here. This is a private community, and it makes people uncomfortable. I looked down at my old camo jacket. The one I wore every morning while walking my dog. It wasn't even active duty gear, just a reminder of where I came from. But to her, it was a weapon. I kept calm. Even when she pulled out a piece of paper and slapped it against my chest. This is an HOA violation notice. If you don't comply, we'll have you removed. The paper wasn't even official, it had the HOA logo printed crooked at the top, like she'd made it on her home printer. I wanted to laugh. But then she pulled her phone out and said the words that froze the air. I'm calling the police right now. I'll tell them you're impersonating a soldier. My jaw clenched. But I didn't move. I'd seen worse intimidation tactics overseas, but hearing it here, on my own property, cut deep. Her voice carried across the street as she yelled into the phone. Yes, officer, he's dressed like military. Scaring the neighbors. You need to arrest him. I saw a few blinds twitch in nearby houses, neighbors peeking but not stepping out. No one wanted to get in her way. I bent down, gave my dog a pat, and whispered, "Easy, boy." Inside, my blood boiled. She thought she had power. She thought a uniform was just cloth. She thought I was alone. What she didn't know was that I wasn't the only veteran in this neighborhood. And the next knock on her door wasn't going to be from the fake cops she liked to call. It was going to be from my unit, the men who never left one of their own standing alone. Karen, I said quietly, meeting her eyes as she smirked. You just picked the wrong soldier. Minutes later, red and blue lights washed over the street. Karen strutted to the edge of my driveway like she owned the place, waving her arms to guide the patrol car. Over here, officer. He's the one. He's a fraud. 2 cops stepped out. One looked fresh, maybe 2 years on the job. The other, older, with lines carved into his face like he'd seen too many nights like this. Karen jabbed a finger at me. Arrest him. He's dressing like a soldier to scare us. I want him gone from this neighborhood. I stood tall, hands resting calmly at my sides. This is my property, I said evenly. And this is my jacket. Nothing illegal about either. Karen shoved the paper at the officer. Look at this violation notice. He broke HOA rules. The younger cop glanced at it, then frowned. Ah, ma'am, this doesn't even look real. Her voice pitched higher. Don't argue with me. I'm the acting HOA president, and he's impersonating military. That's a federal crime. She smirked like she had already won. The older officer studied me for a long second, then asked, Sir, you serve? I held his gaze. 18 years. Army Special Forces. Retired. The silence that followed was heavy. Karen's smug grin faltered just a little. Then she snapped, desperate to get control back. Don't listen to him. He's lying. He's dangerous, I saw him threatening me. That was when headlights swung into the cul-de-sac. A black SUV rolled in slow, tinted windows reflecting the flashing lights. Karen squinted. Oh good, more backup, finally. The SUV doors opened. 3 men stepped out, tall, broad, moving with a quiet discipline that made both cops straighten without even thinking. Karen blinked, confused. Who are they? I couldn't help the half-smile tugging at my mouth. Karen, meet some of my old teammates. They heard you called me a fraud. And they don't take kindly to that. Her face drained of color as the tallest man shut the SUV door with a firm thud and said, Ma'am, maybe you should explain why you're harassing one of our own. Karen's bravado cracked for the first time. She tried to laugh, but her voice wavered. Harassing? No. I was just making sure our neighborhood is safe. You know, rules are rules. One of my teammates, Rodriguez, stepped closer. His stare alone was enough to make rookies sweat. Rules. he repeated slowly, then looked at the fake notice in the cop's hand. This isn't a rule. This is forgery. He held it up, turning it so the flashlight beam exposed the jagged logo edges. You printed this yourself, didn't you? Karen's mouth opened, then shut. She stammered, I'm the president of this HOA. I have authority. The older cop crossed his arms. Funny. Because I know the real HOA president. Lives 3 streets over. And it sure isn't you. Her face flushed crimson. She turned on me like a cornered animal, voice shrill. You set this up, didn't you? You think you're better than everyone just because you wore a uniform. Well, not in this neighborhood. Before I could answer, Rodriguez pulled his phone from his pocket and tapped the screen. A video started playing. Karen. On my front porch 2 days earlier. Planting a fake notice and muttering. This'll get rid of him. The cops leaned in, watching her own words hang in the air. Karen froze, then lunged forward. Delete that. You can't record me without my permission. Another teammate, Jackson, stepped between them. Calm, steady. We don't need your permission when you're trespassing and committing fraud. The younger cop looked rattled now. Ma'am, this is bad. Real bad. Karen's eyes darted, wild, searching for an escape. Then she pointed at me, screaming, he threatened my life. He said he'd hurt me if I didn't leave. The older officer turned slowly, his voice flat. Funny, because his door camera caught every word tonight. And the only threat came from you. Karen stumbled back, shaking her head. No, this isn't happening. Rodriguez looked at me, then at the officers. You want us to handle this? Or do you? I exhaled slowly. Let the law take it. I've fought enough battles. This one should end with cuffs. The older officer nodded, stepping toward Karen with his hand on the cuffs. Her scream echoed down the street. You can't arrest me. I own this place. But her words carried no weight anymore. Karen thrashed as the cuffs clicked around her wrists. Her voice shrieking into the night. This is illegal. I'll sue every single one of you. The younger cop tried to guide her toward the cruiser. But she planted her heels into the driveway, fighting like a cornered cat. Then a new set of headlights cut across the street. A silver sedan rolled up, smooth and deliberate. Out stepped a man in a tailored suit, briefcase in hand. Karen's entire expression shifted, relief flooded her face. Finally, she cried out. My lawyer's here. Now you'll all see I was right. The suited man approached calmly, adjusting his glasses. Evening, officers. My client tells me she's being wrongfully detained. You'll release her immediately. The older cop's eyes narrowed. And you are? Attorney Mitchell. HOA counsel, the man said, flashing a polished smile. This community has rules, and my client is simply enforcing them. Rodriguez chuckled under his breath. Enforcing. With forged notices and fake authority. The lawyer's smirk didn't fade. Alleged forgery. Nothing proven yet. Unless you want a lawsuit, I suggest you uncuff her right now. Karen sneered, emboldened again. Told you. I always win. I felt my chest tighten, but I didn't move. This wasn't my first time facing a stacked deck. I glanced at Jackson, who gave me a slow nod, like he already knew where this was headed. The lawyer's smirk didn't fade. Alleged forgery. Nothing proven yet. Unless you want a lawsuit, I suggest you uncuff her right now. Karen sneered, emboldened again. Told you. I always win. I felt my chest tighten, but I didn't move. This wasn't my first time facing a stacked deck. I glanced at Jackson, who gave me a slow nod, like he already knew where this was headed. The older cop's radio crackled just then. A dispatcher's voice came through. Sharp and clear, Unit 27. Be advised, Karen Miller currently has 2 outstanding complaints for harassment and a pending court summons for HOA fraud. Repeat, active summons confirmed. The lawyer's face froze. Karen blinked rapidly, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. She screamed. I stepped forward, my voice calm but cutting. Karen, your own record just caught up with you. You didn't pick a fight with me, you picked a fight with the truth. The officers exchanged looks. The older one pulled the lawyer aside. If you want to keep your license, you'll step back. This is bigger than HOA rules. For the first time, Karen's confidence shattered completely. Her knees buckled, and she sagged against the patrol car door. This can't be happening. And then Jackson, quiet all night, finally spoke. His voice was steady, but it carried a weight that silenced everyone. Ma'am, you don't realize how close you came. You tried to ruin a man who bled for this country. And now the country's laws will deal with you. Karen lowered her head, whispering something I couldn't hear. But her fight was gone. As Karen sat cuffed in the back of the cruiser, the flashing lights reflecting across her pale face, the street finally felt quiet. Neighbors who had been peeking through blinds now stepped outside, whispering to each other. Some nodded at me, some clapped softly, but no one dared look at her. The lawyer tried one last desperate plea. Officers, maybe we can resolve this without, but the older cop cut him off. She forged documents, impersonated authority, and filed false reports. She's not walking away from this. Rodriguez leaned toward me, his voice low. You want us to stick around? I shook my head. No. Our job's done. She tried to break me. But all she did was remind me why I fought in the first place. The SUV's engine rumbled back to life. And my teammates faded into the night as quietly as they came. But their presence lingered, a reminder I wasn't standing alone. Karen's muffled voice rose from the back seat. This isn't over. I'll find a way back. The officer closed the door firmly, her protest silenced by the glass. Then he looked at me. Thank you for your service, sir. We'll make sure she answers for everything. I nodded, staring at the house I nearly lost to her games. My dog brushed against my leg, tail wagging like he knew the storm had passed. I spoke softly, more to myself than anyone else. I didn't fight overseas just to be told I don't belong in my own driveway. The words hung heavy in the air. And for the first time in a long time, the street felt like home again. She tried to strip me of my honor with a fake notice. But tonight, the only thing removed was her freedom.